done it. I've worked it out. Everything. That's from Craig Ferguson. Really funny sketch from a few years ago. But I think I've worked it out. The whole media thing that's going on, right? Whew, to start, right? So, for a number of years, I've tried out these different platforms. The first one I tried many years ago was break.com. Dailymotion.com. Break.com was after that. There was one called Fire something. And they were still centralized copies of competitors, to YouTube. And then Twitter came around, and that got a lot of following, and things like Instagram, and every one of those that came out, there was like either decentralized or just a more freedom version, or just a competitor at least. Some of them are probably just as bought, or just as easy to be bought. Like if you watch Young Turks News from years ago, and then you compare it to now, they're like conspiracy, and what's it called? They're like the system mouthpieces. They're no better than the mainstream media. And you see them all following like Domino's, Vox, and all that sort of stuff. And same in the right-wing channels, you see them just towing the line. Like Fox News, for example, they wouldn't let Trump speak. They didn't let the president of their country speak. They were parroting literally a fake Russiagate hoax for 3 solid years. Never once did you see Facebook saying fact check, right? Never once did you see in the news take that down. Whether it's the Fox News or the left-wing ones, none of them took that shit down. They still peddled. I wouldn't say Fox did it very much, but they did still peddle some of that Russiagate shit, right? And because it also fits in with the right wings, they hate communism, for example. So even if it's socialists on the left, they call them communists anyway. But then a lot of times on the left, there is a mixture of both, right? People who want something for nothing. People who, like this other guy, it's a right-wing channel I watch called Salty Cracker. Again, his family came from somewhere, maybe near where my family came from, who got, murdered just by the Red Army coming in. This spread, also the things that happened just generally during the Second World War, that power struggle between the commies and the other side that were probably not much better in some ways, But anyway, I've worked it out. What I think's happening, and this might not be a profound discovery, but I think what's happening is Facebook and all the left-wing mediums, these competitors, the ones like Odyssey, LBRY, DTube, BitTube, Viewly, Gab.com, Minds.com. Oh God, there's a few more I can't think of, but there's a lot of them, right? And especially if you look on BitChute, really, really right wing, kind of annoyingly right wing, a bit too far right wing, and it's all just fucking basically Hitler loving stuff and Jew loving stuff. It's just rife from there because it's given them a place to go. And I thought, maybe that's the honeypot. That's what I used to think. Maybe that BitChute's a honeypot. It is a centralized one. It's not decentralized like LBRY is, right? So you end up in a situation where everyone just goes to this one area. It makes it easier for the police to kind of round you up. But what I wasn't thinking about is it makes it easier to categorize you into platforms. And that should have even told this to me earlier. With all that it's highly bigoted stuff. Of course, there's a lot of good stuff on BitChute. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, you haven't got like woke lefty bullshit on there. Not that you'd want it, but I'm talking about even mildly left stuff on there. It does tend to be really right wing focused, or just truthful, apolitical stuff, just matter of fact documentaries and shit like that, right? Or truth about the world. And the thing is, the truth about the world and how things are rigged, that's something that should always concern lefties and righties and centrists, doesn't matter, or anarchists, because things are fucked in the world and have been for a long time, right? So what they're doing is, it's not just corralling people in. What they're doing is they're making it so that the propaganda feed maintains these dichotomies, right? And the main dichotomies, not male and female, the main dichotomy is left ring, white ring. That's the main ones that people will fight family against family for, in a potential war. So what better way to keep that alive than have right-wingers on a channel where there's no chance, there's very little chance they're going to view anything that's let's say even anarchist, but mostly if it's lefty, even mildly left, they're not going to have a view of any of that. So again, it will further, instead of having the trend feeds to feed you the same shit they fed you before, because you decided to do a search on, let's say you're a little Jewish kid and you decide to do a search on Hitler, and then it starts feeding you all this stuff, and then you start thinking, Hitler was right, and then you're a little Jewish kid, literally how train feed algorithms can work to actually twist people, or tell some little kid who's hasn't spent a day in his own homeland that he needs to go to jihad. That's how it happened in the UK. I think these things were accidents. Oh, it's some kind of group on WhatsApp and owned by Facebook. It's some kind of, look at the situation in America with the thinking about YouTube and stuff helping, and Facebook and what they called Instagram. There was a few buses that were taking people up. Remember the Honduras caravan going to America? Perfect timing. The caravan arrives before this certain date. Oh wow, convenient. Oh, it's Trump putting these people in these cages, even though they were built by Biden and Obama in 2013 or 14. Well, that's the narrative we kept on getting fed. And the same as the narrative years ago on the mainstream media and on YouTube when Bush was in power. It was all this right-wing narrative. Oh, he can't do any wrong. And it's like the guy, we're watching him, barely able to talk. He's like a gibbering chimp. And, and then next thing you get this total, hey, I'm a suave guy, Obama in for a while. Oh, look, he's got a smile, looks like a smart dude, blah, 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 blah. And then, hang on, wait a minute, did he just run out of bombs, dropping 26,000 bombs on probably mostly civilians by the death count of the countries, Libya and Syria. And yet we're all buying this shit over and over again. But occasionally you would see a video from the other side and it would kind of, fuck, that's what's going on. I better not get sucked into, see how easy it was to get sucked into that narrative that this was going on when it wasn't. And it makes me think about my own family's history and what happened in Eastern Europe, right? And how this shit repeats and people are it's just a new mechanism. And the new mechanism is, with this online thing, we had it wrong. We thought we were going to make online TV. And what we've done instead is, my phone's running out of battery. We were trying to make online TV, and what's happened instead is that, let me get my cable around here. Maybe I'll even have to charge this on its side. I don't know. Right, yeah, what's happened instead? Oh, God. Technical difficulties. All right. What's happened instead is they've corralled everyone into these left and right wing platforms. They're also separating them in the right. So if they were to rebuild the left, they would try to create separate little YouTubes. But they don't need to do that at the moment, right? But if you can separate up, like when you're a wolf chasing after sheep, you can separate up the sheep into little groups, makes it easier to hunt them all down. So this is what they're doing, creating these separate platforms. So some people will get on LBRY, some will get on... I've noticed that videos randomly go slow on LBRY and stuff, and then other videos don't work on BitChute. So I wouldn't say it's censorship free, because it's strange, the videos that decide to not work. But I would say that there's definitely some possibility that these platforms, just like a political party faking it to be one way, and then you find out, like Nancy Pelosi, she's nothing like she used to say she was back in the 1800s, or that Bernie Sanders was for things that he won't even fight for, and AOC as well. So they're all scum. Donald Trump, did do a few good things like TTIP and TPPA, but at the same time has done some fucked up shit, like, for example, giving all the protected wildlife in Alaska away to drillers just to be a prick. You know what I mean? Like, I don't believe in this sort of, I don't care if you don't believe in global warming. If you don't believe in pollution, you're a fucking idiot, right? So anyway, just get back to the point. So now what they're doing is corralling everyone at these platforms. Everyone will be expelled from YouTube. YouTube might split up more. It already is. Like the kids. Oh my God, I just thought of that. The kids, YouTube for kids. Oh my God. Think about it. When are you going to be on YouTube for kids watching it with your kid? You probably give them that thing and say, right, go watch your things. Oh, good. He can't watch all the adult stuff, which means he can't see some of the things I'm seeing, but he'll be programmed in his own way. It's allowing them to channelize platforms. Instead of a platform having channels, the platform itself is effectively a multi-tiered channel. You know what I mean? So what you get when you go on YouTube is same flavor. If something's related to another agenda, it will be promotive. It's not algorithm pushed down. They've probably got, when it comes to a user, they can probably say, right, give this user selection W, which is a certain algorithm meant to do X, Y, Z. suppress you from everyone but the people who are following you, that don't have any connections. You know, like stuff like that. Like if it's less than 10 subscribers to their channel, then allow this person to be fed his one, so they can reduce the network effect. You know, and that's one thing. But basically, once they have everyone crawled into these spaces, you will not just be put into a dichotomy, as like I've said many times before, dichotomy within dichotomy within dichotomy. It will even happen within the media. I would say don't give it long. They'll start splitting out YouTube into the gamer platform. You game, right? And what they'll do is they'll say, if you get this, you're going to be promoted more because we're trying to manage the systems better, blah, blah, blah. And what will happen is they'll split these out into audiences they can program to create mini infighting. If you can imagine that everything in this world has, as we've seen from China with the most powerful supercomputers in the world now, we know what they've been doing with big data, and that's why data is becoming worth money so much, you know, because even if it's unsorted data, data is just usable by big tech and AI, which means they can use it for marketing and all sorts of things and political gain. And those are the things that make the money and power, aren't they? So to have complete control of your media, it's when not like the old days when you're watching TV and everyone's got to see it. The other side won't see the lies that the other side's been shown because they're only looking at their own platform. And then they're going with but with their red, they're being radicalized on each side, and then they're going to war against each other. But not just two main factions. It'll be two main factions, and within those other factions, for example, progressives and neoliberals, which don't help each other. Actually, the progressives are just pussy walkovers that'll never do anything, totally apathetic, and are, you know how I've said before that stupid people are by default evil. Some stupid people are by default evil because they are, if they're gullible and stupid, then by default you're usually evil, because no one wants to control you if they're good, but assholes will want to control you. And it's just a lottery ticket, whether, you know, maybe a 1 in 10 lottery ticket, whether you get sucked in by some group, maybe a 5 in 10 chance that you get sucked in by a channel just to watch, so that you're, you know, anyway. I'm going on a bit of a tangent here. I shouldn't have had a smoke. I will. Yeah, corralled, programmed in a corralled method, so that you're effectively siloing the population into. Oh fuck! You know the word spell stuff I was talking about before. You're doing it into concentration camps. Concentration camps are meant to be. I think it was about you're concentrating a population in an area, trying to make it not sound like a prison, right? But if you look at it as well, concentrate. Do I have your concentration? And what they're doing is you know, it could be word spell stuff. You never know. But the main thing about this one is I just wanted to show that I'd worked it out. It's all come clear to me, and yeah. Probably isn't that novel at all, actually, to come to think of it now.